Hi, we're back in the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Hallway. Let me show you Bill. He's over here. There he is. And before I go on to my subject for today, I'll talk a little bit about the hallway. Up here we have this string is to use to turn on the light. There's Prince Otto von Bismarck, the unifier of Germany. This is Braunfels Castle. I actually went to this castle and it looks remarkably like this to this day. The valley is pretty much untouched. However, the one change that I can notice right away is this road right here today is actually paved. I stood on the battlements up here and looked out over the valley. It's a pretty cool place. This is a nice view of it. This is the nicest profile of the castle. Down here is Nuremberg, and when I was in the army, I was able to go on a trip there, which was a lot of fun. After World War II, the Germans rebuilt Nuremberg, kind of like putting a puzzle together because it had been bombed heavily during the war. That's a tourist plate of Cologne Cathedral. The cathedral survived the bombing of the war. It was like a miracle. Everything around the cathedral was completely destroyed. But the cathedral itself was saved from being ravished by the bombs falling from the sky. Over here is Friedrich Wilhelm. He was the second Kaiser of Germany. He was only a Kaiser for a few months and he died of, I believe, throat cancer. He had a very awful and painful death. And he became Kaiser in 1888 at the death of his father, Wilhelm I. He was also King of Prussia, as was Wilhelm the Second. And up here is Gießen University. I have been there. And a tourist plate. And I love German battleships, so we have a collection of those here too. And then at the top there is some money from Imperial Germany. It's like artwork. It's really kind of cool. So there you go. And back to Wilhelm. Hi, Bill. So let's go into the Cowboy kitchen once again, and we'll talk about the refrigerator. Who doesn't like watching a video about someone's refrigerator? So first, before I begin talking about what's on top of it, we'll talk about the refrigerator itself. I tried to make it look like a cow by getting contact paper, painting it brown, cutting it out into various shapes, and then putting it on the refrigerator. I then took rope and covered the handles of the refrigerator, as you can see here, point. I got a metal sign and bought some magnets at Hobby Lobby and put this onto the refrigerator. On the side of it is a poster that my nephew gave me. And I bought this magnet because it reminded me of my dog, Kelly. Kelly passed away in 2013. I still think about her every day. I miss her a lot. This has nothing to do with my Cowboy kitchen, but I like the illustrations. This is from Fun with Dick and Jane. And I just always liked the illustrations. It's what families used to be back in the 1950s. You know, they have the dog, the cat, the three kids. It has a great appeal, nostalgic appeal to me. So let's talk about on top is my cowboy town, and this has changed over the years. I add buildings, take certain buildings away. Um, the blacksmith shop, I put that together and painted. It was from a kit called Streets of Laredo. And when I got the kit, it wasn't complete. It was missing a part, and I had to add to it this brick portion that I bought from a railroad, HO railroad store. God, those don't even exist anymore, do they? In the back is a Mark's Fort Apache headquarters building from around 1951. You can still get those on eBay for fairly cheap. This one here, I think, was $25. And it's 70 years old. It's hard to believe that something like that, it's in perfect condition too. Okay, we have here the corral and a Conestoga wagon pulled by oxen. And I always thought that was pretty cool that they had the oxen instead of the horses. Now this building here is two buildings, and I put them together and put this false front or facade, and I also put this roof on it and painted it. This building here is a Britain's Legends of the West building. And then, of course, I've already showed you the Mark's headquarters building over there. I have a reproduction Mark's. By the way, all these Mark's figures up here, they're all reproduction. The figures I painted, they keep falling over because when I come into the kitchen, my shoulder hits the refrigerator and knocks all the figures. Excuse me, I hiccuped. Knocks all the figures over. That's another Streets of Laredo building in the back there. I don't know if you can see it, but I have... Oh, sorry. I have some things in the window that... I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. There we go. And that's my town. I named it Last Hope. That's the name of my town. In the back is I don't know if that's a Frederick Remington or a Charles Russell. I can't see it. I don't have my reading glasses on. I got that at a yard sale. I think I paid $5 for it. These lunch pails are sitting on a shelf. The shelf I bought at Michael's. I painted it and put the rope trim on it. This one is slightly different in that I added some embellishments to the side there, which the other ones I didn't have. The lunch pails are reproductions. They don't have a thermos. And when I was a boy, I never had a lunch pail. For a while I had a hand-me-down of a firehouse that my brother had, but Mom and Dad couldn't afford a lunch pail, so I had brown paper bags. And I always thought lunch pails were cool, I guess because I never had one. So I bought these reproduction ones and put them up here. I'm fond of the Roy Rogers one. I went to the Roy Rogers Museum in Victorville, California. It's gone now. They sold off the collection and tore the museum down, I guess, or rented the building out or something, which is a pity. But they said there was declining number of visitors. I guess people don't know who Roy Rogers is anymore, which is hard to believe, but it's the truth. This figure here was given to me by my friend Mike, And it's of a Soldiers of the World by Marx. I actually like the boxes better than the figures. There you go. There's the other one. So those are authentic to the time period. I guess those are 1950s, maybe early 60s. I'm not sure on that. So, since I'm here, let's talk about that's a toy gun that I bought at Walmart, and I cut it in half and put it up on the wall there. And when I cut it in half, the one of them didn't have a trigger guard or trigger, so I cast one. I got some clay, and then I made an impression of the trigger guard and trigger, and then filled it with resin and glued it onto the second pistol. What you see? You can see the Otto von Bismarck in the background there. This over here is, now I think this is called a strop. I thought it was called a strap, but it's a shaving strop, S-T-R-O-P. And this is a German-made straight razor that belonged to my grandfather. Look at all the dust in here. Oh my God. This is incredible. All this dust. You can tell I'm not such a great housekeeper. Okay. So that's the refrigerator that I had promised to show you last time. So we'll come over here and see if we can get a view of the street. That stagecoach is a reproduction coach that I bought in, I believe in 2016, along with that Conestoga wagon with the oxes as draught animals instead of horses. I think some of these figures up here have fallen over. Anyway, I painted these Marx figures. And I painted them in bright colors because instead of wanting this toy cowboy town to look realistic, I wanted it to look like a toy that was somewhat realistic looking, which is kind of a hard balance to achieve because you're tempted to make everything look real like you would with a model kit. So there we have it. All right, next time what we'll do is I will talk about this section over here, and that will be for our next video. Until then, I'd like to wish all of you a great afternoon. Thank you for coming to visit me today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you. Goodbye.